The human spirit is capable of extraordinary things, especially when pushed to the edge. From surviving on a deserted island to braving the frozen wastelands of Antarctica, history is filled with stories of resilience, determination, and sheer will to live. In this video, we'll take you on an incredible journey through 3 of the most unbelievable survival stories ever told. You'll meet people who defied nature, time, and all odds to make it out alive. Each story is a testament to the power of the human spirit. So sit back and prepare to be inspired, amazed, and left in awe as we unlock the secrets of humanity's greatest survival tales. 15 months stranded. The incredible story of the Tongan castaways. Imagine this. You're stranded on a remote island, no food, no fresh water, and no rescue in sight. For most, it would be the end. But for 6 teenage boys from Tonga, it was just the beginning of a tale so extraordinary it feels like fiction. Their story of survival, ingenuity, and friendship will leave you speechless. It all started in June 1965 when 6 restless boys, Sione, Tevita, Kolo, David, Luke, and Mano, decided to escape their strict Catholic boarding school in Ha'apai, Tonga. Their plan? Borrow a small fishing boat and sail to Fiji or maybe even New Zealand. But the ocean had other plans. A sudden storm destroyed their sail and rudder, leaving them adrift in the Pacific for 8 grueling days. With no fresh water or proper food, they survived on raw fish and rainwater collected in coconut shells. Their spirits were low, but they refused to give up. Then they saw it. A volcanic island rising from the ocean. Utter, uninhabited, and far from any help. Scaling its sheer cliffs, the boys found themselves in a hostile yet promising environment. Instead of despair, they took action. They divided tasks among themselves, fishing, gardening, and building shelter from banana leaves. They even managed to keep a fire burning continuously, a feat considering they had no modern tools to relight it if it went out. But their survival wasn't just about practicality, it was about their bond. The boys resolved disputes calmly, supported each other, and even created recreational activities like a makeshift gym and a badminton court to keep their morale high. Their resourcefulness was astounding. They planted a garden, catching birds and eggs for food, and fashioned water storage containers from hollow logs. They adapted, they persevered, and they thrived. 15 months passed before fate intervened. Peter Warner, an Australian fisherman, noticed burned patches on the cliffs, evidence of human life. When he investigated, he was astonished to find 6 boys living in harmony, healthy and resilient despite their isolation. When Warner radioed Tonga, he learned these boys had been presumed dead. Funerals had been held in their honor. Warner rescued the boys and brought them home, where they were greeted as heroes. Their incredible ordeal didn't just showcase survival skills, it revealed the power of cooperation, optimism, and friendship. This was no Lord of the Flies scenario, it was a real-life lesson in humanity. What makes this story unforgettable isn't just the length of their survival, it's how they survived. These boys turned a dire situation into a testament to the human spirit. Their story isn't just about surviving against the odds, it's about thriving through unity, ingenuity, and hope. So what do you think? Could you have endured what they did? Shackleton's Miracle, the legendary endurance expedition. Imagine being stranded in Antarctica, temperatures plummeting below freezing, your ship crushed by ice and no hope of rescue. For Sir Ernest Shackleton and his crew, this nightmare became a reality. But what happened next is one of history's greatest survival stories, a tale of leadership, resilience, and courage that will leave you in awe. In August 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton embarked on an ambitious expedition to cross Antarctica via the South Pole. He and his 27-man crew set sail aboard the Endurance, named for the very quality they would need to survive. As they neared their landing point, disaster struck. The ship became trapped in pack ice in the Weddell Sea, unable to move. Winter descended and the ice tightened its grip. For 10 long months, the Endurance drifted with the ice, inching farther from their goal. Shackleton kept morale high by organizing games, encouraging routines, and fostering camaraderie among the crew. But in November 1915, the ice crushed the Endurance, sinking it beneath the surface. Stranded on the ice floes with limited supplies, the crew faced a dire reality. They were alone in one of the harshest environments on Earth. Shackleton made a bold decision. They would march across the drifting ice toward open water, hauling lifeboats laden with supplies. The journey was grueling, with blizzards, freezing temperatures, and constant exhaustion testing their limits. After weeks of effort, they reached the edge of the ice and launched their lifeboats into the frigid ocean. Their small boats braved towering waves, freezing spray, and relentless winds as they navigated the icy waters. After days of peril, they reached Elephant Island, a barren, windswept rock offering little in terms of safety or resources. Realizing rescue was unlikely, Shackleton formulated a daring plan. He and 5 others would sail one of the lifeboats, the James Caird, 800 miles across the treacherous Southern Ocean to South Georgia Island. The 17-day voyage was an ordeal of unimaginable hardship. The crew battled hurricane-force winds, towering waves, and bone-chilling cold. Ice encrusted the boat, and sleep was almost impossible. Navigator Frank Worsley performed near-miraculous calculations with a sextant to keep them on course. Miraculously, they reached South Georgia, but their ordeal wasn't over. They had landed on the uninhabited side of the island. Shackleton, Worsley, and Tom Crean undertook a final test of endurance. A 36-hour trek over mountains and glaciers to reach the whaling station at Stromness. Exhausted, frostbitten, and starving, they stumbled into the station, shocking the workers who thought them long dead. Without pause, Shackleton organized a rescue mission for the men left behind on Elephant Island. After several failed attempts due to sea ice, Shackleton finally reached Elephant Island on August 30th, 1916. Miraculously, every member of the crew survived. For nearly 2 years, they had endured the unimaginable, their survival a testament to Shackleton's leadership and the crew's resilience. Shackleton's expedition didn't achieve its original goal, but it became something far greater, a symbol of perseverance, unity, and the triumph of the human spirit. His leadership is still studied today as a masterclass in crisis management. Could you have endured what Shackleton and his men faced? Touching the void, the unbelievable survival of Joe Simpson. High in the Peruvian Andes, 2 climbers faced the unthinkable. One broke his leg on a treacherous descent, the other had to cut the rope to survive. What happened next is one of the most extraordinary tales of survival ever recorded. This is the story of Joe Simpson. In 1985, Joe Simpson and Simon Yates set out to conquer the west face of Ciudad Grande, a 21,000-foot peak in the Peruvian Andes. It was a daunting challenge: steep ice walls, unpredictable weather, and the sheer isolation of the mountain made it one of the most dangerous climbs in the region. Despite the risks, the pair succeeded in reaching the summit, but as every mountaineer knows, the descent is often the most perilous part of the journey. Disaster struck as they began their descent. Simpson slipped on an icy slope, shattering his right leg and heel. In such a remote and unforgiving environment, this kind of injury is almost always fatal. But Yates refused to abandon his friend. In a show of remarkable determination, he rigged a system to lower Simpson down the mountain in 300-foot increments using their ropes. The process was slow and grueling. The weather deteriorated, bringing biting winds and zero visibility. After hours of effort, another disaster occurred. Simpson unknowingly slid over the edge of an unseen overhang, leaving him dangling in mid-air. Yates, unable to see or communicate with him, felt the pull of Simpson's weight threaten to drag them both to their deaths. In an agonizing decision, Yates cut the rope. Simpson fell into a deep crevasse, disappearing into the icy abyss. Assuming his friend was dead, Yates continued his descent, haunted by the decision but knowing it had saved his own life. But Joe Simpson was not dead. Bruised, broken, and alone, he faced an almost impossible task: escape the crevasse and make his way back to base camp. Using sheer willpower, he lowered himself deeper into the crevasse, eventually finding a way out through a narrow ice tunnel. What followed was a 3-day ordeal of unimaginable pain and determination. Simpson crawled and hobbled across miles of jagged ice and rocks, dragging his shattered leg behind him. He battled dehydration, starvation, and hallucinations. At one point, a song stuck in his head became a bizarre source of focus, keeping him moving forward. His journey was a race against time, as Yates was preparing to leave base camp, assuming Simpson had perished. Against all odds, Simpson reached the camp just hours before Yates' departure. Emaciated and delirious, he was barely recognizable. Their reunion was a moment of disbelief and relief, cementing their story as one of the greatest survival tales in mountaineering history. Joe Simpson's survival is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure unimaginable pain and adversity. His story, immortalized in the book and film Touching the Void, is not just about surviving against the odds. It's about resilience, friendship, and the will to live. These stories remind us of the incredible strength and resilience within us all. Whether stranded on a deserted island, battling the elements, or overcoming impossible odds, these individuals showed us that the human spirit is capable of extraordinary things. Their courage, resourcefulness, and determination inspire us to face our own challenges with unwavering resolve. Which of these survival stories amazed you the most? Do you have a favorite tale of resilience? Let us know in the comments below. And if you're as fascinated by these incredible stories as we are, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing journeys into the triumphs of the human spirit. Together, let's continue exploring the stories that remind us what we're truly capable of.